Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Wendy Bray, and I am the Federal Lead for the Education and Training Portfolio for the Office of Small and Disadvantaged Business Utilization. Today, I have here with me my director, Ms. Anna Ehrman. And before I get started, a few housekeeping notes. The chat box and the Q&A box are open. Please direct all your questions to the Q&A box and address them to all panelists. For your awareness, this training is being recorded, and a copy of the presentation will be provided to you by tomorrow. A copy of the recording will be made available within a few days, so you'll receive it via email once it has been released. Also, as a reminder, all of our trainings are recorded and they are located on our BA YouTube channel. Our BA OSDBU YouTube channel. So let's get started. Today's presentation is Procurement Readiness Overview. This training is ideal for those small businesses that have not did business with VA or that have not attended this training in the past. The intent is for you to learn about some basic information needed to do business with various ways to become procurement ready, as well as where to locate procurement opportunities with VA, and ways to analyze a solicitation to identify procurement opportunities. So that's basically what we'll be discussing today. If you haven't already, I recommend reviewing FAR Part 9, Contractor Qualifications, after this session has concluded, because 9.103A states that purchases shall be made from and contracts should be awarded to responsible contractors only. And so that's what we'll be focusing on today concerning procurement readiness overview is responsible contracting. Before I move to the next slide, I'm going to open up a poll. Is your business currently procurement ready? If you can go ahead, because we have some slight changes with WebEx, but if you can go ahead and place that in the chat. The question is your business currently procurement ready? And you can type in yes, no, or unsure. Okay, that's good. Welcome I see good morning from Phoenix, Arizona. Welcome. I know it's early on your side. I see a lot of yeses, no's, and unsures. That's great for those that say no and unsure, because I'm confident as we conclude this session, you'll be more aware, of how to become procurement ready to do business, not just with the Department of Veteran Affairs, but also with other federal agencies or state and local agencies. So our objective today is for you to learn about some of the factors that determine if your business is ready to do business with the Department of Veteran Affairs. And I recommend attending this training first before viewing the trainings within the Vet Talk Procurement Readiness Series, which I'll talk about the Vet Talk Procurement Readiness Series on the next slide. So for today, what I'll be discussing is information needed for a successful business, being procurement ready for VA. I'll include some additional procurement ready factors, business resources, procurement opportunities. I will be providing that to you today, and then a summary. And then at the end, I'll actually review some pre-solicitations and post-solicitations that are currently inactive that I was able to locate on SAM.gov to show you an example of what it means for a business to look and see and predetermine if you are ready to do business with, the Department of Veteran Affairs or whomever your buyer may be. Now, these are the trainings offered within our Vet Talk Procurement Readiness Series. This series breaks down the acquisition process into easily digestible information. On this slide, you can see topics that have been highlighted. These trainings have not been conducted yet, and these trainings are located on our YouTube channel. And I'll place a link, or if Anna, you may be able to assist me with placing the link to our YouTube channel in the website, in the chat box, we can provide that with you. Thank you, Anna. I saw the thumbs up. For those participants that have dialed in, because I know sometimes people dial in, don't worry, these links will be included in the presentation that you receive tomorrow. They'll be at the end of that presentation. Okay, so I'm providing you with a core checklist for doing business. Read on here, it says the core checklist provided below is intended to guide small businesses in the process of preparing to become eligible to bid on contracts in the federal marketplace. As each business varies, it does not denote a complete list. Okay, so procurement readiness is the demonstrated ability to win and to successfully perform on contracts. It represents understanding how to navigate the various opportunities set aside for your business and respond to procurement opportunities. Now, for those that said during our poll that no or unsure, a procurement ready business, a small business, could be a viable government contractor by having the registrations, the capabilities, the performance history, and competitive advantage to meet the needs of the customer. Now, in the Federal Acquisition Regulation, that's FAR subpart 9.1, it states responsible prospective contractors. The scope of the subpart prescribes policies, standards, and procedures for determining whether prospective contractors or subcontractors are responsible. A big part of being procurement ready is being responsible and responsive. So I want you to anything that if you leave here today, I want you to keep in your head responsible and responsive. I want us to look at old performance questionnaire and the questions that were asked in this questionnaire. So this is just a little assignment here. I want you to close your eyes and bear with me because I know some people are like, no, I'm not going to close my eyes. Go ahead and close your eyes for me for a second. And I'm going to read these highlighted questions. And as I read them, I want you to think about your business. I want you to think about how the procurement decision maker or the buyer, how they would answer these questions about your business services, right? Because this is a questionnaire that they're filling out about the services that your business provided. So go ahead and close your eyes. And the first question is, did the contractor staff always appear and act professional? So for those businesses, you're only one person, right? If you're on the call, you're only one person. Thinking about it in terms of as you grow your business, did your business staff always appear and act professional? So you know if it's for those that have, staff, right? You're thinking about it in terms of, okay, right now in the moment, if they're going on site or if they're working virtually, do they always appear and act professional? Or those that don't, think about it in future terms of something that you want to make sure that you're checking off, right? In terms of how your business operates. Another question, did the contractor appear to have problems keeping a full staff? Turnover. Is it 1 week, it's Sarah, the next week, because Sarah left, it's James, so forth and so on. 1 week, your business was able to provide 5 personnel. The next week after, your business is only able to provide 1. Another question, was the contractor responsive to problems arising in performance in a timely and effective manner, right? Excuse me. Again, was the contractor responsive to problems arising in performance in a timely and effective manner? So for example, was your business able to correct an action within 24 hours? Or going back to the second question that I asked, due to lack of personnel, did it take 2 weeks or 3 weeks? Did it affect the production for your client? And then the last question is, do you recommend this contractor for future contracts? And that you want to think about because, of course, for the development of your business, you want them to be able to say yes. You want that to be that word of mouth or that check in CPARs to say, yes, I do recommend them. They were successful on this contract. So you can go ahead and open your eyes if you haven't, and I'll go ahead and move on to the next slide. But think about that. You will be receiving a copy of this slide. Think about, and those are just some of those, right? These are just a few questions that may be asked concerning your business. And I recommend that your goal is to always ensure that you are prepared to respond yes to your business capabilities for successfully performing on the contract. For all questions, the reviewer, you want them to be able to say yes. Now, another poll that I want to ask, and you can place your responses in the chat, is, does VA purchase my services or products? And your response is still yes, no, or unsure. So again, the question is, does VA purchase my services or products? Okay, that's good. I see a lot of yeses. I think I've only seen about 3 no's. Okay, thank you. Thank you for everyone that has been responding. And I think we have one I don't know. Okay, and Mike, I see your response. That's good. That is really good that you know how they purchase your services. So next, I'll be covering information needed for a successful business. And again, this information on this checklist is just basic information. It does not include every single thing. So you want to make sure that you review your business services and what is required. And I do provide additional sheets where it says other at the bottom for you to be able to use. So provided here is some basic information that's needed for a successful business. Starting off with a business plan. A good business plan guides you through each stage of starting and managing your business. It's a way to detail all the key elements of how your business will run. And give me 1 second, everyone. I want to pull up the Q&A just in case anybody had any questions. Okay. So it's a living project for your business, meaning that you will continue updating it as your business grows, or even if you decide to take your business in a new direction. It will also help you to reach business milestones and get funding. Now, going back to that second polling question, where I asked you about if VA solicits for your business services or products, the intent of that question was to identify if you, the business owner, or whichever position you are here within the business, was able to research and identify if the VA buys what your business is selling. Having a business plan is essential because potential buyers are included in there. If you require assistance with the development of your business plan, if you don't have a business plan that has been developed or you would like for someone to take a look at it, in a few minutes, I'll cover your resources that is able to assist you. So the 10, do you have a tax identification number? If not, you want to reach out to the IRS if you need assistance with getting one. Licenses. And everything that I'm covering is actually highlighted on this slide. Different things will be highlighted on the slides as we continue. So with licenses, you will need to have a business license. This information is broad, therefore I'm not going to go into detail during this training, but just make sure that your business has all its required licenses. Your contact information. You want to ensure that you have updated contact information. Designate and include a point of contact for your business. As it pertains to your email address, you want to ensure your business and its email address is matching, especially as you're corresponding. You don't want to be using your personal like Wendy.Bray at Gmail, but then also, my business is VA, so I'm using wendy.bray@va.gov or .com, whatever it is. You want to remain consistent with that. Now, I gave you one example, but I'll give you another example. OSDBU LLC, Office of Small Disadvantaged Business Utilization LLC. That's the name of my business. And so my email address, right? Because the name of my business is OSDBU LLC. My email address should look something like wendy.bray@osdbullc.com. It shouldn't be like wendy.bray@gsa.com or wendy.bray@walmart.wholefoods.com. It should match. So I saved the best for last on this slide about having knowledge about the buyer, knowledge about the market, and knowledge about your competitors. A common question that we receive here in our office is if VA solicits for specific services and or products that the business owners provide. And VA is big. It has many offices, and that information can be located online. So one of the parts of my job is to show you where you can identify that information as you conduct your market research and identify potential buyers. If it's not because remember, I saw a response in the chat that said, no, VA doesn't buy. So if it's not with VA not buying your services, there is information or resources that is out there to show you which agencies, if you're looking to start working with federal agencies, which agencies do buy or solicit for the services that your services and or products, that your business provides. So my question to you is, have you ever visited usaspending.gov? And you don't have to worry about putting that in the chat. That's just something to think about. For those that have, really good. If you have not, check into that, looking at usaspending.gov to use as a part of your market research. With usaspending.gov, I like this website because it details what VA is buying. It details what other agencies are buying as well. But concerning VA, during this training today, it details what VA is buying. And the great thing about it is that it's not only a resource that can be used to identify a potential buyer, which is VA, it can also help you to identify competitors. So this is a part of market research, and you want to gather information so that you can better understand those opportunities and limitations for gaining customers. So that's part of your market research. It helps you to identify that. So the main question you should always ask yourself is, does this potential customer desire the products and or services my business provides? I just gave you one resource, usaspending.gov, if you haven't never visited it. SAM.gov has a data bank if you are looking for other resources. Also, Small Business Administration has resources where you can be able to identify potential buyers as well during your market research. You can use this during your market research. Here's another question. How many similar options are already available to my potential buyer, right? Those other options are your competitors. And as I stated before about knowledge about the competitors, competitive analysis, it helps you to find, you can use it to find a market advantage. Competitive analysis, it should identify your competition. And when you are identifying your competition, you should assess the following characteristics. These following characteristics: market share. Strengths and weaknesses is number 2. Number 3, your window of opportunity to enter the market. Number 4, the importance of your target market to your competitors. Number 5, any barriers that may hinder you as you enter the market. And number 6, indirect or secondary competitors who may impact your business success. So several businesses might be competing to serve in the same market, and it becomes oversaturated. And so you're targeting these markets. And so you need to utilize all those resources that are available to you. So as part of your homework, I provided some resources that will be beneficial to you when completing your market research and competitive analysis. And when you receive this presentation, I recommend that you take a look at the information, visit some of the sites, and review some of the data to identify how it will aid your business in doing business with potential customers. And so before I move on, because I did cover a good amount of information, I want to check to see if there are any questions as it pertains to the information that I've covered so far on this slide. Okay, I don't see any questions. Okay, thank you, Darren. So I left this slide open. I didn't hide it for you. This is the resources that I was speaking about. When you're focusing on demographics, employment statistics, it's actually 2 slides of the information: money and interest rates, trade statistics, statistics of specific industries. So it is linked. When you receive the presentation, you can click on the links and you can access that information. And then it also has on the slide the goal for these reports. So as I continue talking about analyzing your competition, take a look at Porter's 5 forces. I have included a link as well as a 2-minute video. If you click on play, it'll take you to a 2-minute video that explains competitive forces that shape strategy. I see there was a question that says, what if you have no past performance? So if you don't have past performance, depending on the type of services and if you're providing products, I mean, that doesn't mean that you don't have any opportunities to, receive awards or be awarded a contract. It really depends. Also, we don't always, excuse me. We do recommend for businesses that are just starting out to look into subcontracting or any type of partnership relationship. And we actually are conducting our 2nd phase of a partnership training with a small business and her attorney tomorrow concerning joint ventures and mentor protege. But if you go onto our YouTube channel, our 1st phase focused on prime and subcontracting relationships, as well as teaming relationships and teaming agreements. And they discussed operations and legalities for that. So those are, Harry, some, you're welcome. That's some things that you can look at as well. But you want to make sure that I recommend that you do have a capability statement developed if you don't already, because a lot of businesses feel that they don't have past performance as your business, right? Like I was saying, OSDBU LLC, that was my business. I might not have operated my business or been awarded a contract under OSDBU LLC to have those skills to successfully complete, for a contract, but I have those personal skills from working at other agencies. So you do, or I would hope, do have the skills for it. It's just not underneath your job. Underneath your business that you have. Could you please post your YouTube channel? Yes, I'm going to scroll up. I think it was posted. If you go ahead and scroll up, I think it says at 11:06. Anna Ehrman, my director, she posted it for you. All right, thank you, Harry. So now I'm going to discuss being procurement ready for the Department of Veteran Affairs. The 1st phase, I talked about just being ready to do business. Now I'm going to talk about being ready to do business with VA. So now you see the next section that's highlighted, the next set of topics that's highlighted, excuse me. You want to make sure that you are registered in the System for Award Management. That's SAM.gov. If you're not registered, if you have any questions on how to register or you need any type of assistance, I recommend that you reach out to the Apex Accelerators, which were formerly PTACs. An advisor with them, they'll be able to assist you. To do business with agencies within the federal marketplace, SAM.gov registration requires small businesses to provide information that defines and identifies the small business. Now, when you are registering, there are 2 parts to consider. The first part is the registration process, which involves creating an account, and the second part involves registering your entity. So I was going to show you SAM.gov website, but I'm pretty sure a good amount of you are already familiar with that. So when you must register your entity to be able to bid on contracts or apply for federal assistance from the federal government. And as a reminder, You want to always update your profile when needed. So starting off with capability statements, and I just mentioned that. A capability statement is a concise one-page document of your business competencies. And just like you have your personal resume, or you used to have a personal resume for those business owners that have been entrepreneurs for a while now, this is your business resume. The purpose is to provide specific information that will convince potential customers to do business with you. And just like your business plan, your capability statement, it is a living document. And this does mean that it will change throughout its lifetime. Not only change, you may have more than one. So let's think about this for a second. Think about your personal resume that was created 10 or so years ago. It could be 20, 30. You notice, if you've noticed, it's definitely not the same if you still have one. And our office, just so you know, we do offer a training that discusses how to create an effective capability statement. If you are in the development phase, you have not created it, you don't know where to start, you can go to our YouTube channel, which is posted in the chat, and you can view our most recent training, which was hosted last week, of how to create an effective capability statement. Now, an effective capability statement, it includes those 5 key characteristics, which are core competencies. You're listing your business capabilities, differentiators, what makes your business unique from its competitors, the type of services or your product you're providing, what makes it better than your competitors, your company data, your website. I see that my colleague Nicole Hines, Dr. Nicole Hines, has joined us. She does a training on effective websites and social media presence. Your contact information, and as well as your past performance. And so you want to make sure that you are providing an effective capability statement to the potential buyer. So also, small business size by NAICS codes. This information will be provided to you at the back of the presentation, but know your business NAICS codes. If you don't know your business NAICS codes, visit the Small Business Administration website. You can look on the Small Business Administration website to identify if by your business NAICS codes and its other factors, if your business is considered basically a small business, looking at the small business size. And if you want to identify your business NAICS codes, you can go to the census website. On the Small Business Administration website, thank you, Anna. On the Small Business Administration website, where it discusses size standard tools, they actually have a size standard tool that asks you about your NAICS code and then the average annual revenue. And during this training, I'm not going to really go into it, but yeah, you can go to the website to view that. Also, as I stated before, websites and social media. So you want to make sure that you're also looking at that, updating that information. I'm not going to really go into talking about or discussing website and social media because we do have separate trainings on that, and it is located on our YouTube channel. Credit cards. To do business with the VA, your business has to accept credit cards. I've listed some examples on this slide. If your business does not currently accept charge cards, I recommend that you visit the General Service Administration website regarding GSA Smart Card. VA does have a program similar to GSA Smart Card. Now, GSA does not mention that if your business does not accept charge cards to reach out. It does mention that if your business does not accept charge cards, you can reach out to your financial institution to discuss accepting credit cards. And the GSA Smart Pay program is the world's largest commercial payment solution program, and it services more than 560 federal agencies, organizations, and Native American tribal governments. So I kind of talked about having performance history a few minutes ago. What I have noticed is that some businesses, they have past performance, as I stated before, and they just are not sure how to document that in their capabilities. If you don't have past performance, there are other avenues, such as, like I stated before, subcontracting opportunities that can help you to build up that past performance. I just mentioned subcontracting, but I did mention earlier about different type of opportunities. And do your business have all of its certifications? Your market research can help you identify those potential certifications that are needed, as well as networking. So I recommend that you go back and look at previous solicitations. And when you look at those previous solicitations, you look at what type of certifications did they require for previous contracts. Because certifications might not be the same if you're used to doing business with a state or local agency. They may look for a different type of certification or may not even need that certification, as opposed to when you're doing business with VA or other federal agencies. So a good way to be able to identify those type of certifications that may be required with that agency is using sam.gov as a resource. The UEI, it's been almost a year now since UEI was implemented. I think it was April of 2022. They stopped, the federal government stopped using the DUNS number to uniquely identify entities. And they started using the unique entity identifier, that's UEI. And you don't have to worry about, reaching out to anyone if for those participants that are unsure if they have a UEI. It's created in sam.gov. And when you go to sam.gov, you can view it in your profile. And if you're not sure how to view it in your profile, there is on sam.gov a video that shows you how to locate your UEI number in your SAM profile. For those businesses, and I know some may be asking on this core checklist, why do you still have DUNS if the federal government is not using UEI anymore? I left it here for those business owners that are still doing business with state and local agencies, because there are still some state and local agencies that use the DUNS number. So again, this is a core checklist for you. Not everything on here will apply for you, but if you are one of those businesses that is still doing business with state and local and looking, or is doing business with federal, I left this on here for you to be able to check that off as well. So before I move on, I'll check to see if there are any questions. Okay. So capability statements. The purpose of a capability statement is to provide specific information that will convince potential customers to do business with you. It's like your 30 seconds to 120-second elevator speech. And you want to ensure that your capability statement is current and succinct, yet specific to the needs of your potential customer. But if you remember or recall earlier, I mentioned that you may have more than one. You definitely will have more than one. Some businesses, especially when they provide services in various different industries, have about 3 or 4 or even more. And it will be specific to that solicitation or specific to that agency. But basically, when you are supplying your business resume, your capability statement, you want to make sure that that information basically lines up with what they're looking for. If they're looking for a specific NAICS code, you don't necessarily have to include, right, other NAICS codes that solicitation isn't pertaining to. So like I stated, you'll probably have more than one, and you just want to make sure that all the information that's provided on there shows your business capabilities, and that your business identifies that your business can successfully compete and successfully I said compete, but complete that contract. And just like a resume, it should not exceed 2 pages. I know there are some businesses with a variety of services, years of projects that they've worked on, where their capability statement will be longer. But especially for those businesses that are just starting out, you want to look at, we recommend 1 to 2 pages. So here are some additional procurement ready factors. Not every business is required to be on the federal supply schedule with VA or the federal supply schedule with GSA. Not every business is required to provide products manufactured, under the Trade Agreement Act. Not every business will be required to have surety bonds or, bonding capacity. So starting off with the GSA schedule, also known as the Federal Supply Schedule for those businesses that do not know. Also the multiple award schedule. It's a long-term government-wide contract with commercial companies that provide access to millions of commercial products and services at fair and reasonable pricing to the government. So the multiple award schedule, it makes buying easy and efficient with the use of modern technology to connect government buyers and industries. There was a question that came in that said, are you able to add personal skills certification to the past performance for the capability statement? And what you want to make sure that you remember is that that capability statement is for the business itself. Now, there may be times where in a solicitation, they may ask about personal certifications or skills. And I actually have an example that I'll be able to show you, Tanya. But I do not recommend adding personal skills or certifications to there, but as you are completing your, developing your proposal or your bidding, if that is something that they're asking for, then I would recommend that you include it in there instead of on your business capability statement. So going back to this slide, what I want you to take away from this training today is that in order to qualify to be on the VA Federal Supply Schedule, you must be on the GSA schedule. And the GSA schedule, the contracts are subject to Trade Agreement Act. So this means that all products listed on the GSA schedule contract must be manufactured or substantially transformed in the United States or a TAA designated country. So talking about bonding capacity, you're welcome, Tanya. You should recognize that a bonding capacity can influence your eligibility to bid on contracts. A surety bond could be required when bidding on large contracts, especially for construction projects. So many service contracts and occasionally supply contracts also require surety bonds. Now, what happens with the surety bond? Authorized surety companies, they provide surety bonds to businesses that meet qualifications. If this information is applicable to your business, know that the Small Business Administration guarantees surety bonds for certain surety companies, which allows the companies to offer surety bonds to small businesses that might not meet the criteria for other sureties. So if you have any questions concerning surety bonds, if it applies to your business, you can go to the Small Business Administration website and they will provide you additional information. Now for other, some information that can be included in there is anything that has not basically been listed here, but you have identified is a requirement for your business. This checklist is basically to help your business out with keeping up with, okay, what all, for example, certifications or licensures, or is our business website up to date? Check. Do we have all of our NAICS codes? Check. Are we in SAM.gov? Are we registered in SAM.gov? Check. Have we complete our competitive analysis? Check. So basically in anything that's not listed on here, you can go in and you can fill that information out. And then I'm actually providing you with a second slide that you can use to fill in any additional information, because I know 2 slots is sometimes not enough. So now I will cover business resources. These are some business resources that you can utilize in helping your business to become and remain ready to do business. So one of the things that I did not update, I apologize, on this slide is where it talks about AppTech. It's no longer the Procurement Technical Assistance Centers. For those businesses that do not know, they are called Apex Accelerators. The link that we provided in the back of the slide is still valid. But when I send this out to you, I'll update that information. So again, they're called now Apex Accelerators. But you also have the Veteran Business Outreach Centers. You have SCORE. When I spoke about your business plan, if you're looking for a template for your business plan, if you go on SCORE website, they actually have a template if you have not developed your business plan, where they can help, it's a template of a business plan that you can use. The small business development centers, your small business liaisons, specifically with VA, we have VA small business liaisons, the small business administration, and then us here at OSDBU. What is the SCORE website? That information will be provided, excuse me, Tanya, in the presentation that you'll receive by tomorrow. Or you can actually go use your search engine. Thank you, Anna. Anna just posted it to everyone. SCORE.org. Next, I'll be discussing where to locate procurement opportunities. This is a list, and it does not have a link included on here, but this is a list of where you can go to identify procurement opportunities. I always place sam.gov first, because majority of the procurement opportunities will be on sam.gov. Also, VA forecast and contracting opportunities. Almost every federal agency has a forecast and contracting opportunities. Sometimes when you go on here, like we've heard, not recently from businesses, is that, okay, there was a forecast and contracting opportunities, and there was a solicitation on there, but I'm not seeing it on sam.gov and it's gone. The intent is a forecast of them saying, okay, we foresee that eventually or probably that this, service or product will be needed in whatever quarter it may be. On the forecast and contracting opportunities, I think it goes up to fiscal year 2027 now. But yeah, it goes up every up to 5 years, and you have the opportunity to filter out some of the data to look for example, any micro purchases that are out there. Another one is networking events. We have a section in strategic outreach and communications, which is the direct access program. They actually host business opportunity sessions, networking sessions between primes or procurement decision makers and the small business community. So if you are interested in that, vetbiz.gov. Nicole or Anna, if you could post that in the link as well in the chat, excuse me. If you're interested in locating any networking opportunities or business opportunity sessions, you can definitely visit there. Your small business liaison, specific to this informational session today, VA small business liaisons. They'll be able to assist you with identifying some micro purchases that may be coming out of their visit, that are either coming out or that are out there, because micro purchases are not on sam.gov. usaspending.gov. You can identify, I like using usaspending.gov when you're able to, you can identify opportunities with what I say, quote unquote, what we call is competitors, but you could subcontract with them. If it's a larger small business that currently has a contract and the agency is obligated, has obligated a certain amount to that contract to them, it has already been awarded to them, maybe they may have subcontracting opportunities. So visiting usaspending.gov can help you identify that. I cannot give information about selling on the GSA schedule. You'll have to reach out to the GSA OSDBU office, their small business office, and someone will be able to assist you, Maria. Individual prime contractor websites, as I stated, if you go on usaspending.gov, you can use that as a resource for competitive analysis. It helps you identify, because their information is public. The information is public. You can identify the businesses that have contracts with the agency you're looking to do business with, or they are, have had in the past contracts. Visit their website. A lot of businesses that, have, they subcontract with small businesses, they have that information on their website. So you can also visit the individual's prime contractor website, and then also the U.S. Small Business Administration Subcontracting Network, which is SubNet. That's that website is for primes and primes and subcontractors if they're looking for, it's like vice versa. If a prime is looking for a subcontractor looking for a prime, you can utilize SubNet, excuse me. Yes, all slides will be provided to everyone by tomorrow morning. Okay, so to summarize, because we have about 15 minutes left, and I want to answer a few questions if you have any questions pertaining to procurement readiness. Today, you learned about some basic information that is needed for a successful business, what being ready to do business with VA would look like. But remember, it really depends on your industry, and what I covered today is just some common factors. I provided you with some business resources. Remember, you are not alone during this journey, and we are here to assist you. I provided you with your resources, but no, we here at VA OSDBU is definitely here to assist you. Lastly, you were provided with a list of procurement opportunities where you can locate procurement opportunities if you are ready to do business with VA. You're welcome, Lisa. So as I stated earlier, I wanted to provide you some examples of pre-solicitations and solicitations. On here for the pre-solicitation, it talks about the scope of work. So when you are actually, and I pulled this information from SAM.gov. When you're on SAM.gov and you're looking at a solicitation, this is a pre-solicitation that came out. It says the scope of work is to conduct 3 separate on-site training seminars, each 5 days in length, for up to 14 participants and their spouses. This training is to assist and prepare senior military and their family with the transition from military life to civilian careers. And then it went in to say training should incorporate whatever it may be. For this slide, let's look at the NAICS code. This NAICS code is for 611430. If your business, right, for example, did not provide services for NAICS code 611430, you wouldn't bid on this solicitation. You wouldn't, you wouldn't submit a proposal for this solicitation because your business does not provide those services. If you had your capability statement, on your capability statement in the section for pertinent codes for the NAICS code, it would not list 611430. Also, it says original set aside. This solicitation will be set aside for small businesses. I'm pretty sure everybody on the call today is a small business, but if there is a large business, they wouldn't apply for this. It's set aside, specifically set aside for a small business. And then looking at the scope of work, if your business did not have experience in, for example, conducting 3 separate on-site training seminars, doesn't have any experience in conducting on-site training seminars, you wouldn't, respond to this. So another example is of a pre-solicitation experience of this minimum primary instructor requirements. And this goes to the question that was received speaking about individual certifications. On the second line, it says, shall have a master's degree in any subject area. As you're responding to this solicitation, if the individual on your team, on your staff, does not have a master's degree in the subject, nobody has a master's degree in that subject area, you wouldn't respond to the solicitation. But as far as doing market research, not just looking at this pre-solicitation, but other solicitations, you can be able to identify what exactly, right? You're not ready. Let's say, for example, you're not ready to do business now, but let's look and see what exactly throughout their history of these solicitations are they looking for, so that you can then prepare your business to become ready to do business, so that if the next solicitation or pre-solicitation or solicitation, that comes out, when they say shall have a master's degree, someone on your staff, whether they went and got their master's degree or you hired someone on, now has a master's degree. So, you've checked that box. It says shall have a minimum of 3 years experience counseling, flag or general officers. You would check that box. And then here is an example of a solicitation. And I always highlight the sections, you're looking at it where it says, the contractor shall provide all vehicles, personnel, management, transportation, materials, supplies, and equipment necessary to perform contract services. If you know that your business cannot provide all vehicles or personnel, your staffing is short right now, or the transportation, or even supplies or the materials, then you wouldn't respond to this. At the bottom, it says the small business size standard, because I spoke about the size standard earlier and where you can go on the Small Business Administration website to locate that. It states the size standard is 11 million. If you go in there and you plug in your business information, and your business size standard underneath this NAICS code is 13 million, then you know you wouldn't respond to that. And so the last one that I like to use as an example today, provide virtual training, provide on-site training, provide small, this is an example, provide small Waterford Reading Academy site licenses reading sequence. If you know that your business does not have, no one on your staff has experience with math and science, maybe English, is their experience. Their experience is in English, then you wouldn't respond to the solicitation. But again, as far as conducting market research, it helps you to be able to identify, okay, if the next time around they put out a solicitation again and they're looking for the same thing, or they have in the past during market research looked for the same thing, it helps you to identify, okay, we need to bring someone on staff that has that experience, or get someone on staff that has that experience. So as I stated, as we reach the conclusion of this training, I will address the questions that I see that have come in. Tomorrow, we are conducting a training, mentor, protege, and joint ventures. If you are interested, Anna, if you're able to provide the link to our education and training page where they can go to register, please, for this training. Also, you'll receive the link, but I think that'll be too late for you to receive the slide by tomorrow. So if you click on that link, it'll take you to our education and training schedule page, and you can register for this training if you're looking, if you're interested in attending. And so this just mentions, I want to remind everyone that once this training concludes, you will be directed to a survey, and I ask that you please complete the survey, provide your feedback, and let us know how we did today, because your responses will be used as part of our continual service improvement. Also, before you leave, if you have any, type of topics that you would like for us to discuss or to develop, a training on, you can actually just place that in the chat, and we'll review your responses later this week. So going back to the questions, I see some questions were put in the chat instead of the Q&A. I believe my company is ready to bid on federal contracts after reviewing the procurement readiness factors, but I'm unsure, when to submit capability statements, proposals, pricing, and other necessary documents. Is there a resource to assist with the flow of submitting documents? Since you feel that your business is ready to do business with VA, I want you to contact your VA small business liaison. If you are not sure who your VA small business liaison is, you can go on our website, which has a list of the small business liaisons. That website, it does include the small business liaisons by their VISN number, that's on the medical side, but we do have small business liaisons with, for example, depending on your services, because I'm not sure what type of services your business provides, CFM, the SAC office, the TAC office. So you would identify your small business liaison. You can visit that link, Nicole or Anna, if you're able to put that in there. If you want to identify, you need to identify your VISN number. You can use the VHA VISN map to identify the VISN number. It actually shows you the regions of the VISN. If my business provides program managers specifically for the EHRM upgrades that are under the Architects Next, can we add the Architects Next specifically to the EHRM?
I could jump in on that if you want.
Oh, thank you, Anna.
So there is no next police. If you believe that your customers are putting requirements that you could bid on that are appropriate for you under next codes that you wouldn't have thought of, just add those next to your SAM profile. You could bid on anything you want. However, contracting officers and some small business liaisons do check to see if that next code is in your profile. So just to be safe, add it to your SAM. It takes 24 hours to refresh, but bid on anything you believe you can perform and be successful with, as Wendy provided. Over.
Thank you, Anna. Quick question about email addresses. If we are part of a joint venture, are you saying we need to have an email address matching the joint venture company name versus an email address with my main company? So a joint venture is a new entity. It's two entities coming together to form a new entity. So if you're going to have a UEI, a new UEI, a new SAM.gov profile, I would recommend, you don't have to, right? But that joint venture, whatever name it may be, you know, you don't want to be responding, you know, using one name and then they're wondering, okay, who is this other company? Is there a template on how to approach a prime contractor to become a sub with them? So they actually host informational sessions. We host informational sessions, like I stated with Direct Access Program. We host informational sessions between primes and potential subcontractors with their business. And a good example is IBM, I think about 2 weeks ago. So what I would recommend is those information industry days, business opportunity sessions, which are the same thing, networking events. When you reach out to them, one thing that I would like for businesses to use is already know about the business. Don't reach out to them and say, okay, how, you know, what can you do for me? Or what assistance do you need for my business? Or how can you help my business? When you are approaching any, you know, potential relationship or a buyer or a potential partner, you want to make sure that you have done your market research, identify whatever they need, so that when you're approaching them, especially even as a subcontractor, not especially, even as a subcontractor, you're letting that business know, hey, you need my business services for XYZ, whatever it may be for. So I'm sorry, going back to answer your question, there is not a template, but I would recommend that you work with your advisor with Apex Accelerators, or you can even reach out to your VA small business liaisons. There are some small business liaisons that will be able to assist you with basically how to brief or pitch, excuse me, with pitching to subcontractors, with pitching to potential buyers. What is the link for tomorrow's training? Anna just posted it right above your question, Lawanda. I see it was sent privately. So Anna just posted it. Well, she posted in the chat at 11:52. What can we learn more about compliant accounting and cybersecurity systems? I recommend that you first reach out to your advisor. I know that our office, we don't offer trainings for compliant accounting and cybersecurity systems. But your PTAC, the Small Business Development Centers, advisors there may be able to assist you and direct you to some trainings that do. From SCORE's request, thank you. Your mentor request has been submitted. What can you expect? We'll send a confirmation email to you with your request details. When we find the right mentor for you, we'll email you and let you know your best match. We'll help you set up a time to talk or meet with your new mentor. Please contact us if you have any questions or concerns. I'm not sure when you post in that, Ernest, if you have a question. If you do, can you go ahead and place it in the chat or the Q&A? Do you recommend govtribe.com as an additional tool for market research or USA spending? I've never used govtribe.com, so I can't recommend govtribe.com, but if it has been useful to you, I would recommend that you continue using it. I have used USA Spending, FPDS, which is now, if I'm not mistaken, with SAM.gov. So yeah, I use those, so that's why I recommend those websites. Thank you, Nicole, for posting it. She said the link is to the Small Business Liaison page. I registered for tomorrow's training. I am still waiting for approval. Can you help with this? Yes, not during this training. If you give me until this afternoon, I can approve it. This has been a great session. Thank you, everyone. And I see there were 2 questions. Thank you in advance for forthcoming responses. Thank you for providing. Okay, great. So we have actually answered all the questions today exactly at 12 o'clock. Thank you, everyone, for attending today. You will receive these slides by tomorrow morning, and a link to the YouTube channel, once this recording has been uploaded, will be provided to you within 2 business days. So again, thank you for attending. I am going to end this training.